Hello EDPD team. Today, as a group, we'll be discussing the teaching practices Miss Turton uses within her maths lesson to a Stage 3 class. Miss Turton did a brief overview of the topic by drawing simplistic shapes on the board and getting the students to solve the area. By doing this, a smaller version of a formative assessment is done and she can see the prior knowledge that the students have learnt on the topic. Miss Turton is then able to move to more advanced shapes that require more steps because she can see from the formative assessment that the students have a strong understanding. As she moves to the more advanced shapes, she uses a theory known as lateral thinking. This theory was created by Edward de Bono and brings forward the idea that students can think in a multitude of ways and get the same answer, which also allows for students to use more thinking processes such as creativity and insight. This is seen by Miss Turton as she allows students to suggest their ways to solve the problem, and then she shows the students the way she solved the problem. Gemma will now explain how the practice can impact the students' experience.
Thanks, Riley. By modelling a question about area using a regular shape at the beginning of the lesson, Ms. Turton is able to assess the students' level of understanding about this concept as they have already learned how to calculate the area of regular shapes in previous lessons. This allows students to reinforce their learning by exercising their working and long-term memory before building upon their previous knowledge to develop their understanding of more complex concepts. While watching this video of Ms. Turton leading a guided example on the board, it is important to note that some students have been seated to the far left side of the classroom, whilst the demonstration is occurring on the far right side of the whiteboard. This can impact a student's ability to effectively participate in an activity as their view may be obstructed, thus having a negative impact on their learning experience. Rebecca will now discuss the industry expectations being met by this activity.
Thanks, Gemma. I have discovered different ways the practice of modelling can assist in adhering industry expectations. Professional standards are suggested to have been implemented to act as a solution to the rate of low teacher quality and student achievement. Miss Turton's practice of modelling area effectively meets the APST standard 1.2, being to understand how students learn. By providing a model of area, Miss Turton is able to identify what students already understand in regards to area, giving insight into whether the lesson needs to be altered to suit the student's understanding. By modelling area, Miss Turton further stimulates the quality teaching dimension of intellectual quality, particularly the element of meta-language. By ensuring students are aware of and understand the key language related to area, students are provided with opportunity for meaning-based learning. Clearly, we can see that Miss Turton's modelling of area allows for adhering to industry expectations.
Miss Turton gives the students the option to work in pairs to complete the task, which has many benefits and is supported by a theorist known as Vygotsky. Vygotsky's theory suggests that cognitive progress begins to take place with human interaction, particularly if a novice student is paired up with an expert student. This allows for the novice student to obtain more knowledge and improve not only on the subject, but also their social skills. If Miss Turton were to make sure that the pairs were made correctly, both students would benefit, as a novice student in the pairs may learn about new shapes and how to calculate the area of those shapes. But the expert student can also gain information, as they may learn how to look at questions from different perspectives. Gemma will now once again explain how the practice can impact the student experience.
Thanks again, Riley. When completing the classroom activity, students have been provided with the opportunity to choose whether they would like to work in small groups or independently. By doing this, Ms. Turton is empowering students to have more control over their learning, catering to their individual learning needs. This technique can have a positive impact on the learning experiences of these students, as the activities provided should effectively accommodate the processes by which each child learns, rather than expecting the students to carry out the task in a way that will limit their learning capability. This mathematics activity also considers the learning experiences of advanced students with the addition of a rich task that incorporates the concept of calculating the area of shapes into real examples. Heading back to Rebecca discussing how this teaching technique meets industry requirements.
Thanks again, Gemma. As mentioned by Riley and Gemma, Miss Turton provides the students with the opportunity to select whether they will complete this task individually or in pairs. This effectively allows Miss Turton to meet the element of student direction within a quality learning environment, further adhering to industry expectations. By providing students with this choice, Miss Turton is allowing the students to take ownership of their learning. Miss Turton's lesson plan also allows her to meet the APST 3.1, being to establish challenging learning goals, as she instructs the students to create their own representation of the garden using the measurements provided. This challenges students to use the knowledge they withhold and have obtained about area, as well as stimulate their creativity to direct their learning within this task. In conclusion, it is evident through Miss Turton's varied teaching practices that consideration of different theories, student experiences, and industry expectations is essential.